Is love in the room? Well, if it's in our loving tongue, baby, is love in the room? Don't whine on me here, lady. Is love in the room? If he wanna fight and stray, is love in the room? We playing with House Monday in the ladies' room. Don't worry, us. She's safe. You're giving topic to Aruna. Study your place. Your woman outside with cousin whole day. You can't see face. The story end up on ladies' room. You disappear without trace. Voila. If all she know is papi show and stress outside, is love in the room. If you wanna have to girl, take care, they bust the files. Well, if it's in her loving tongue, baby, is love in the room. Don't whine on me here, lady. Is love in the room. If he wanna fight and stray, is love in the room. We playing with House Monday in the ladies' room. Oh, na na na. It's only love in the ladies' room. It's love in the room. It's love in the room. Well, if it's in her loving tongue, baby.
And we are back in the room for yet another ladies' room. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's indeed a pleasure to have you here, as always. And, of course, it is the final one for the week. Hope everyone is doing well and we're ready to take on today. Remember, we're getting ready for Tales from the Crates tomorrow, the party. And it's going to be good vibes, good music. Looking forward to seeing you there. And please do me a favor. Yeah, come up, say hi. Don't wait until Monday and then you come here and, oh, I saw you. And, okay, and nothing, no hi, no I'm so-and-so, no introduction. Y'all be doing that all the time. You'd see me in person, don't say a word. Then send me a message, inbox me to say, oh, I saw you so-and-so. Like, really? Nobody bites around here. Seriously. So, say hi. Come meet the crew, meet the team, all right? And thank you in advance for attending. Anyways, thank you so much, Nirvana Spa and Detox, Beacon Insurance, Western Union. Welcome back to the show. And today we have a very, very interesting conversation ahead of us. It's a topic that we tend to shy away from. But this morning we're going to delve deep, and we have two awesome women who will be sharing their stories regarding mental health this morning. Yes, so it's not a case of talking from, for talking's sake, but it's actually from talking to two women who actually lived it, experiencing it, and they're here to tell us their stories on how to deal and other things regarding mental health this morning. So Shantae, do me a favor and share, and everybody else share the live. Happy Tails Eve. I like that, Tails Eve. Sounds like Christmas. Do me a favor and share the live, guys. Marian, good morning. Who else is here? Rachel, good morning. Don, morning. Joanne, blessings to everyone. Happy Thursday. Eunice and Joseph, good morning. Donna, Shauna, Dakota, good morning. Lisa, good morning. Happy Thursday. The Scorpio season in full effect. Welcome, Jenilyn, Christelle, Clarina. See your buns in the sun. You're having a time of your life. Well, that's what it's about, because when you head back up the road, it's bare cold, right? So enjoy the sun, soak it all up as much as you can. Amanda, Aline, good morning. Wendy, the folks out there in Toronto, good morning. Roxanne, Shirley Japal, good morning. Marvlin, Jay Laborde, Precious, Winsome, Wise King, Akeisha, good morning. Terrence Wells, I had to message you this morning to check in. Well, you're here now, so I hope you're good. We're going to talk later. Good morning. Diana, good morning. Chantel, Children of the Corn. Darren Oxford, good morning. J. Douglas Adams, have a great day today. I ain't have free nothing, not a zilch. Good morning. Good morning, Wrong Wendy Person. I always laugh when I see your name, Wrong Wendy Person. They can come in. Good morning, Elizabeth. Michael. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the room. Akeisha, you good? See, you were pro on the topic that I posted. I'm trying to wrap my head around this topic, but around that post. But the only thing that's coming to mind, I haven't done it. So some of you have been doing a lot in your little time on earth. No wonder it's getting so hotter, because hell getting closer. Y'all be doing too much. All right? Anyway, Darren Samuel, St. Lucia checking in. Have yourself a great day. Jackie Douglas Adams, I did call your name. What's wrong with you? Sugar Babe, good morning. Alana, good morning. And everybody else. Keisha Bristol, good morning. Kofi, welcome to the room. No Chantel, I haven't. But, life has been lifing and we've been doing the most. So that's what's been going on. Anywho's, Vanessa St. John, good morning. To my viewers on YouTube and Facebook, good morning. Good morning to my viewers on Facebook and YouTube, and of course all listeners on 95.1, 95.3, or if you're listening via the app, welcome and good morning. Canada, Jam FM Radio, good morning. Hey Ravi, good morning Krista, and everybody else that's here with us. Welcome to the room. Now, like I said, if you're joining us for the first time, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the ladies' room, where we talk real, we talk raw, we talk relevant, and today we're diving into a topic that too many people struggle with in silence, and we're talking about mental health. We all face moments when life can feel heavy, right? When anxiety, depression, or emotional exhaustion start to take over, and yet so many of us are afraid to speak up, afraid to seek help, or simply don't know where to start. But the thing is, the truth is, and it's something that I've discovered along my own journey, there is strength in talking about it. There's healing in understanding that mental health is just as important as physical health. So we sort of creating that safe space, where folks can open up, can share their stories, and to learn how to better care for our minds and the people around us. So joining me are some amazing guests who will be sharing their experiences, insights, and of course, coping. And whether you're listening from home, your car, work, this conversation is definitely for you. So stay with us, because today we're shining a bright light on mental health. And I have with me in studio Sarana Mitchell and Avelina McLean. Avelina McLean. Yeah, never heard that name before.
Spanish.
It's Spanish. What does it mean?
Ave Maria, Mother of Christ.
Oh, okay. So see, now we learned something. So we
Are you the
have this
mother of
too.
Christ?
I like that. So we have these two awesome women in studio with us. Sarana is definitely no stranger to our room, so it's a pleasure to have her back. So thank you much, so very much, ladies, for being
It's a
here to
pleasure.
share your story, and maybe we can start off with a bit on when we hear the term mental health. What comes to mind? What are we exactly talking about?
Well, mental health is the ability to manage your emotions and your feelings. The lack of the ability to do that, therein lies the issue of mental illness. So if you're not able to moderate or take care of your emotions, then you might have anxiety, you might go to depression, and then you might have the more
Come on.
the more the more, what should I say, serious ones like bipolar or
Schizophrenia.
schizophrenia or PTSD. You have a whole list of names of things that can come up as a result. So basically, when you speak of mental health, the term itself means your
Balance.
ability to manage your
Men-
emotions and your mental state. Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just elaborate on what she's saying. Put it in finer terms. Mental health is being able to control your mental for facility for capacity.
Faculties, mhm.
Yes, faculties. As for me and Surana, we are bipolar, and by being two, we are manic depressive. I like to say I have two personalities. I have split personality. I don't know for Sarana. And
But that's a totally different
no, that is what I
diagnosis.
like to see. That is what I'm saying. That is what I like to see.
That you have split.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Because it is in fact split personality because I'm either manic or I am the depressed. So it is a split personality. And I have to take the medication to be in order to balance. Is to get a balance, to be in the middle of it. To be normal is to be balanced. So basically that is what I wanted to say this morning.
Okay. All right. So we'll expound further on that, but I know it's gonna be like a sort of tough conversation to have, but it's gonna be a real one because there are so many people who go through this on a daily basis and they're afraid to, like I said,
Open
speak up about it, open up about it out of fear of what people will think, how people will perceive them, and and all of that. So they suffer sometimes in silence and go through it in silence. So I hope hopefully after this program, people will be in a better headspace to seek help and be able to be okay with it. So again, thank you so much for being brave enough to share your story. So now I'm not sure who want to go first on
I'll go
this,
first.
but can you take us back to the moment when you realized something wasn't right, that you were really struggling mentally and emotionally?
Okay, for me, it was at the age of 15 because of at the time, it was because of how I was studying for CXC. I was in fifth form and I was doing 7 subjects, science subjects. And my study pattern was I would get home in the evening around 4:30. I would eat, I would bathe, I would sleep, wake up around 9 o'clock, then start studying right back until time to go to school the next day. So I used to use a lot of caffeine, coffee to stay awake, and that broke me down. That destroyed my nerves. So right now I can't even use coffee. I can't use nothing with caffeine. I can't use energy drinks with caffeine. I can't use coffee. I can't use Coke. Nothing of the sort with caffeine because of that.
Sorana?
I think for me, it started way before it got to a point of no return. Looking back, I could see when issues back in my late teens and so on. But it came to a fore when my after my daughter was born. I went through postpartum depression and did not come out of it. It just doubled down into a diagnosis of bipolar.
Oh wow.
Yes.
And from then to now you've been dealing with.
I wouldn't say I choose not to use terminologies that are negative.
Okay.
Like, some people like to go around and say things like, I am this, I am that. I look at it as a diagnosis, and as a person, I come before that. So I often say I live with this. So it's over there. I know it exists, but it doesn't own me, or I don't own it. I know it exists. I'm not going to put my head in a bag and be an ostrich or whatever, but I know it exists. I know it's there. I do what I have to do to take care of myself as a result.
Well, I am on the contrary. I don't do that. I face it. I know I have a problem and I deal with it by being open about it and making people aware that I have the problem despite of the discrepancy that it may cause or create.
Well, as you, I am not afraid to
Say.
state it, but like someone would go around, I am this, I am that. No, I am Sarana, I am the human being first. That's how I look at it. So I'm not afraid to say I live with bipolar disorder. I'm not afraid to speak up and be an advocate and be open. No, I have no issues with that. But at the same time, I am not going to wear it as a badge,
Understand. I understand both sides of of the spectrum, where Avelina is coming from and where you coming from, because I mean we all coexist in this space, so I totally get it. But what were those days like for you? What emotions were you feeling from the early stages of it?
At the age of 15, as I said, I was studying for CXC, so that was a complication, right? And apart from that, I had other issues in that I did not grow up with my mother. I grew up with my aunt and my grandmother. And I was told that when I was born, well, I was an overdue baby. I spent 10 months in my mom's womb. And I was told that when I born, my grandmother said to my mother that she would take me as her last child. And I also understood that she didn't have a son. She had 3 daughters, and she wanted a son, so I was a tomboy. Yes.
Got you.
And you still are.
Yes, in a sort of way, yes.
So all of that, would you say it impacted you?
Oh yes, it had a lasting impression on my life growing up as a child. Because, for instance, as I like to say, I was sure to get a catas every Saturday for eating fish, and not knowing that it was an algae. My aunt was not aware because she was backward. I'll put it that way for people to understand. She was backward in that when I eat the fish and I vomit, she would beat me and say I'm being stubborn, or I just don't want to eat it and this and that and that. But the fact of the matter was that I was allergic to seafood. And up to this day, I can't eat shellfish and seafood. I could only eat saltfish and smoke herring.
I like that. At least
But
you
I
could do
was
something
sure to get a catas every Saturday for eating fish.
So all of that played on you. Sarana, what about you? I don't like the fact that we can laugh about it. We have to find something to break the ice. Go ahead, Sarana.
No, for me, it was it was
More serious.
when I go back, I saw myself in my head cycling like thoughts, and then there were days of the depression. I was like, I have everything I think I would need. I had at the time a husband, I had a daughter, I had a roof over my head, I have access to food. So why am I unhappy? So, and a lot of people look at the physical, material things and say, oh, you're too happy.
Yes.
But they don't know what is going on
Mental- it's a
within.
mental
Yeah, So I myself was looking at it in those terms. I was like, what is wrong with you? You have all of this. Why are you unhappy? Why are you crying? Why are you sad? Why? Yeah, so I battled that until I broke. And the breaking point is like, I was saying all sorts of things. I was, just not sleeping. I was not eating properly and stuff like that. Yeah, so it came to a point where I had to I had to be hospitalized, yes.
Sometimes I always refer to, depression and mental illness as a state of me versus me. It's like you battling your own self, and those on looking on, they don't understand or they don't see it as that.
They see you as, well, you have everything. You're supposed to be happy, but you're not happy because, yes, you have everything, but you don't have a peace of mind. And that's just it. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
And also, when you say a peace of mind, is a matter of, again, people might think it's physical or material. If you have all of that, you should be able to sleep. But then, if it's chemical imbalance, as is bipolar, or if whatever it is that's affecting the ability to sleep well, to think well, to be able to to be able to take care of your mental health, then it doesn't matter what you have. The material things mean nothing, you know? So I saw someone posted yesterday, there was someone on TikTok just falling apart, and she was listing all the material things that she had, and she's still unhappy and she's depressed, and her partner at the time would leave her for long periods of time alone, and then and yeah, and people were commenting that she's too happy, she has all of this, and I was just like, this is why people, God forbid, die by suicide.
Yes.
Because there's a lack of understanding. Because people look at the surface, and so many people walk around fakeries. Is just
Pretending to be okay when they're
yeah,
not.
pretending. It's a
Why?
mask.
They do that to be accepted.
Yes.
You know, to be seen, to be, well, not to be heard, because they keep it inside. As for me, the reason why I can open up is because I am more manic than depressed. When I get depressed, I go to the hospital. I say, look, I am depressed. I'm withdrawn. I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping. I'm not exercising. I'm gone. I need treatment. I go get my treatment, come back out, and I move on. I don't sit down and say, oh God, well, I used to do this, and oh gosh, I mess up and I can't do that. No, I just move on. I used to do it, I continue doing it.
And you know, as you're saying, Avelina, the fact of the matter is, what you're saying there is that you know yourself, and you accept yourself, and you accept the diagnosis. Some people fight it, right?
I used to.
Yeah, and I fought it myself because of the way you were brought up to think that,
You're sick.
yeah, because first of all, people think of you and they see you as nothing. They see you as you're gone through. You know us in the Caribbean already. Well, oh God, she get crazy when she gone through. You know?
Because you're mad, you're going through.
Yeah. And so with all of those things in my mind, I wanted no association with that. But I had to come to the realization I have chosen to take care of myself, and I have a daughter. So as a result, I have to take care of myself financially. Under no uncertain terms will I sit by and have my hand extended. If I do that, it's because I must.
So let me ask you this though. Did you understand right away that it was a mental health issue, or did it take time to recognize what was really happening?
To recognize, to accept. Recognition was easy. Acceptance was the difficult part.
Yeah, Avelina is so correct with that. Because for me, I kept leaning on the fact that there was another issue from my past. So I was like, that's responsible for it. Like it's still a mental health thing, but I'm not going to fall into the trap of, oh, I have bipolar and da 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 da. No, I don't want that term, because long ago I had heard the term bipolar as a young reporter, and I laughed it off, and I was like, oh, they just invented a word to get away with whatever. And then God was like, oh, it's so, deal with it. You know?
So, but I know sometimes it takes a big moment to make us stop and face our pain. Was there a turning point for either of you? Anything that made you say, I need help?
Yeah, wanting to be able to take care of myself and my daughter. Those are that's the main reason, because I am lucky to have relatives, siblings, but under no uncertain terms am I not autonomous. Am I going to give up my autonomy and have my hand stretched out for you to take care of me? And that therein lies sometimes some people with mental health conditions, their families see it as a burden, so they have to take care of them, quote unquote. And so I decided, no, I'm not done. I'm not over. This is just a like, okay, for example, they call with mental health, the symbol is semicolon. It doesn't mean that you end, you mean you continue. So I was just like, I am continuing. I will take care of myself. Cause it what? I take my medication. I take care of myself. I eat healthy. I walk. I have supportive people around me, and if you are in any way getting into a space, for me, getting into a space where I see you as if you want to control me or treat me as if I'm less than, distance happens.
Well, as for me, it's different. I have no support. I'm here by myself on my own. My mother and my brothers and my sister is all away. I have no support.
Same
I
here.
have family. I have family here, yes, and they would call and say how you're doing and thing. But if I ask them for money, maybe I might probably get it. Yeah, and it might take a long time. Yeah. But so that is why I say I don't have the support. But yes, I do have a backbone support. You know, it's a skeleton, but it is still support.
And
Yeah.
I just want to add that both Avelina and I are members of the Friends of the Mentally Ill, so there is a support system in that.
Yeah.
So I guess
But
that's the skeleton she's referring to.
yeah, as well as as she was saying, if you ask family and so on, they will support. Yes, and as I said before, I just don't want to fall into the trap
Or having to beg.
to beg, because that's what it comes across as.
That's what they want.
And that's what they
control, to
want.
be able
And
to
that is
control you.
control.
Yeah.
That is control. And I'm like, nope, not happening. Goodbye.
And I took a long time to come to terms with my illness. And now that I am here, I am not going to say that I'm totally healed, because at any time I could take on something and break down. But to an extent, thank God I'm healed.
Now, none that you ladies made mention of, the support or sometimes lack of. Did you ever feel like people around you, and this could be for others who are going through this as well, like people around you didn't understand what you were going through, and what did it
Yes.
take for them to truly understand?
Definitely. That is exactly, that is, you said it. That is exactly what happened. It's not a feeling that we have, it is exactly what happened. Because when I was diagnosed, as I said, I was 15 years old. And it was difficult for me because I just came home one evening, a Friday evening. It was close to Carnival. It was around Carnival time. Oh, did I say I'm a Trini? Sorry, I forgot. I was born and bred in Trinidad. I lived there for the first 15 years of my life. As a child, I started traveling to Barbados because that's where my mom lived. And I started traveling there from the tender age of 5 years old. I used to go every summer. We would go to Barbados. Yes, and I would interact with my mom there. But I still felt, as a child growing up, she was not there for me. Although she would come and visit, but she was not there in that she was not the mother.
Present, okay.
Right, the mother figure. My aunt and my grandmother was
They
my mother figure.
tried to fill
Right.
in.
So, but she would come and she did support me. She supported me physically, she supported me mentally, she supported me financially, but without my knowing. As a child, they hide things. And I always say that to them. They hide, and more they hide is the more I see. Right?
Got
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
you.
So
You
they
sound
would do
biblical
that.
there.
Yes, it is biblical. They would do that, and up to now they still do it. Right now I'm having a problem with them because I'm having issues with my boyfriend presently, and even my brother, who I thought understood me, is giving me some BS in that. Yes, in
Okay.
that.
Pause on that topic. We'll come back to that one. That's another topic all by itself. Because
No, I was just saying.
I
that.
just
know.
like Avelina.
I know. I mean, if we allow her, she will definitely give us more than we intended to get. But I understand in terms of trying to explain yourself, you'll delve into other areas to
Yeah.
make to make the point. So we get it. So Sarana, the same question applies. Did you feel like people around you didn't understand what you were going through, and what did it take for
Of
them
course,
to come
of
to the
cou- of
realization that this is
course.
serious?
Of course, they're like, get out of it, snap out of it. This is that kind of thing. And I was just like, I wish I could. I mean, I wasn't verbalizing that. It was a very tender time in my life. And so I was in tears because I cannot verbalize what I'm feeling, what I'm going
You
through.
don't know. You
And-
don't understand for yourself.
Right. So I don't understand what's happening.
Until the diagnosis.
And then these people around you are like, is this, is that? And they're making all sorts of assumptions. And it was just annoying, but at the same time,
Irritating too.
what I did is I just let it bounce out. I'm very good at letting things bounce off, and I just let it come through and just fall off. And I learned to use everything in my surroundings to my advantage to help me heal. So I love to read. I thumbed through books. I became my own psychologist. I um I became my own in sense of the word. I became my own healer. And one of the things, I was living in the US at the time, and that was a great advantage because all around there is information and help. And the fact of the matter is, I was open to it. I would read something and I'll be like, oh, so this is what is happening. Bam, I start reading and going through and then trying to use it to my advantage. So I used everything in my surroundings to help me heal. And I continue to do that because one of the things I do is I started to do more is write, and out of that came the poetry and the songs and you know, so it developed, it unleashed the creative side of me. I used to hide that side of me before the diagnosis, but after the diagnosis I couldn't hide it anymore. I didn't want to be on any stage singing. I don't want to be doing any poetry. Just I would give somebody to do and go and do it. But it's like if God kicking me and it's like, oh, you gotta do it. So I'll be like, okay, fine. I'm not gonna fight anymore.
I was like totally opposite to that because I was always the one to push myself to the limit, to my limit, because I knew I could have done it. And before I was diagnosed with bipolar, that is what I used to do. I was never A plus student. I was an A student, but not an A plus student until Form 3 when we did midterm. And I came first in test. I was really surprised. You know, I was proud of myself. My aunt didn't even tap me on the shoulder and say, a job well done, but I said it for myself. I did it for myself. You know, my teacher, my form teacher, he was really, really proud of me and he showed it. You know, my classmates, you know, they were like, wow, how did you do it, you know? And I really impressed myself, you know? So I find that along my life journey, I had to push myself to make it where I am today.
You know what I'm getting from, especially from Avelina a lot, is that, you know, the importance of having your parents in your life present, like
your
actively
biological
present,
parents,
and playing their part, and because
their
that
role.
can, because what I'm getting from listening to her is that definitely played a part in, you know, in who she is and what transpired in her young
and up to
days.
now, I'm still having problems with my mother, but my biological father. But my adopted father, God rest his soul, he was my father. You know, he was my father figure, and also my step grandfather.
I don't think, like, you know, parents truly understand,
No,
you know,
they
how it
don't.
affects, and I'm happy that you're speaking from that perspective, because I don't think a lot of parents understand, you know, the damage
importance of
and some of the
being-
things that they do
yeah.
or unknowingly do, and how it damages or hurts
Well,
their
it's
children
not
in
my
the
mom's
process.
fault. Because I would blame my grandmother because she was the one. Because my mother grew up with adopted parents as well, right, from the age of 6 months, and when she had me, my grandmother was like, okay, Cheryl, you're going to leave this child here. Go back to Barbados and continue your life. I would take care of this child as my own. And as I said, I was a tomboy.
So it's like, you know, it's like if your grandmother was making up for what she lost
Yes,
with your
mother.
but at the
Yes.
same time you suffered because of the absenteeism of your real mom.
Yes, definitely.
And in so doing, that affects
The
how
whole psyche.
Yeah, it affects your ability to your relationship with women, your relationship with people on a general note. Sorry, I'm
Well-
just putting on a different cap. Sorry.
So, well, I mean, the absence of my father in my life was, it was devastating for me because when my mom got pregnant, he said that I wasn't his, although his mother said to him, if you did not go there, your name wouldn't call, the child is yours. Like, you know? So, but he still didn't play a part in my life.
I just love
He still didn't play a part of my life. His brother was more active in my life than he was.
I like how accepted she is if it just lets it all out. I'm sure if you were to sit here, would know everything that, but put that part on pause again as well. But on the other side, though, and anyone of you can answer the question, Sorana, what helped you finally reach out for help, and what gave you the courage to do that?
I had no option. I fell apart. So I was taken to the hospital and under observation and so on. They said that, they went through all the tests and everything, and they they observed me and everything, and they said that it's bipolar. And I was like, that ain't making sense.
What is
What is
bipolar?
bipolar? And I remember hearing the term before, and I laughed at it, and I was just like, okay. So then I started to do my own, because my background is
Research.
journalism. So, and it's all about research and understanding what is what. So I started to write the story I have to understand. And so I started to research. No, I refused the diagnosis, because that is not this. It is not that. It is this. It is that. Is that whatever else? And so I had several breakdowns, one after the other, because I refused to take the medication. And because your body's in such a tender state,
She was in denial.
I was in denial, and my body was in a tender state. It is easy to have relapses, right? Because I'm not taking the medication, I'm not sleeping well, I'm fighting this, I'm doing this, I'm da da da. And so I had to take myself out of it and realize that it's not about me, it's about my child. She comes first. And in order to be able to take care of her, I have to be able to take care of me. And that was it, because I am not going to have my hand outstretched unless it's a need. Unless, I'm not saying nothing is wrong with asking for help, because I've had to, and I have been in situations where I had to ask people for help and so on. Nothing is wrong with that, because that is how life goes. But I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I always have to have my hand outstretched. So because of that, I am autonomous. I have an ability to do lots of things, so they're going to get done, and I'm going to take care of my child, and that's it.
So how do you manage your mental health on a daily basis? How do you guys do that?
Well, for me, get up in the morning. Sometimes I remember to say my prayers. I don't always remember, but during the course of the day, I do remember. So I would do that. I get up, I take because when you're in the hospital, they wake you up at like 5:30 to give you your medication. Then you go and bathe and change your clothes and all of that. So I keep that pattern with me, even when I'm at home. So I would get up, I would do that, take the medication, have a shower. I would get something to eat. Normally in the hospital, you don't eat until about 8 o'clock, but you're home so you can do what you want. So I would do that. And go through my course of my day, go to work or go to play or do whatever I have to do or is to be done, has to be done. So basically that's it.
Okay.
And
So-
I would say to people who's having mental issues to seek help, talk about it, because it helps. When you speak out, it helps you to feel better, because then you get the burden lift off your shoulder. So it's very important to speak out, seek help. And we are in a society where, oh God, you tell somebody something and the whole of Grenada knows. Don't even bother about that. You just speak up because it's for you, not for them.
Got you.
So don't even think about it. You do what it takes to make you feel good
Better.
about yourself.
I think adding to what you're saying, because of the fact of confidentiality, many a times people going through mental health issues, they really don't want to let everyone know. I say go to your physician and speak to him or her and let them guide you accordingly, or speak to your nurse or so.
Or even a teacher for young people.
Yeah.
A lot of young people is coming down with mental illness.
And that goes back to the home and the parenting and other
As you
issues.
said, the parent not being there. Even yes, you're taking care of your biological child, but you're not there because you're at work. When you finish work, you have extracurricular activity, so the child is left alone at an early age, or they left with the babysitter. So it comes back to the same of the parents not being there. So yes, you're
So
in
that
the child's life,
bonding-
but exactly that's it.
Well, the way society is set up, things are decompartmentalized. So as a result, we live like that, because the
Society.
the whole yard no longer exists where I could leave I go to work, I know my child is safe with grandma or an aunt or something. That does not exist, so you have to pay someone to take care of your child. That being said, when you do have time with your children, whether you have to work, because we have bills to pay. So if you have to work, if whatever, and you have a child, when you do have time with your child, I know you're tired, but you have to be present. Instead of giving them presents, even the Xbox or whatever is going or whatever in this dispensation, I don't know, because my child is beyond that now. So, but whatever it is, find time. If you have a car and you're driving, like my daughter and I used to be talking, and she telling me everything, and I'm like, Lord, do I need to know this? So this is what you interact and you talk with your child. From
It doesn't matter if it's on the phone, if you just have to call them from work sometime during the course of the day to let them know that you love them. Just saying I love you, but I mean it or not. Just say it. It goes a long way in the health of a child.
And I think you also wanted to know how I do during the day.
Yeah, how you deal with it.
Like Avelina, I wake up early, and early could be 4 or 5, and because it's ingrained in me from since I was a child, because I grew up in Willis, and you had to get the bus to go to school, because I went to school in town from primary go up. So I had to go to St. Louis Girls RC School, so I had to leave, get ready, eat breakfast early, jump on the bus, get down to St. George's. So the getting up early is a part of me. And what I do is that I pray, or I just do affirmations, which is my kind of prayer as well. It equals both, giving thanks to God and giving thanks to this being. I play music to get me in the mood. It could be conscious, it could be soca, it could be gospel, whatever mood I'm in. I wake up, I play soca, I play reggae, I play conscious, I play whatever comes in the field, dancehall. Whatever I feel like, hip hop, whatever feels, I play it and I get myself ready for the day. And as I said earlier, I surround myself with people who are supportive, positive people, and I surround myself with positive things. And that's what, and I go do what I gotta do.
So for someone listening right now who might be, feeling hopeless, who might be battling depression, but feeling, anxiety and all those things, what would you tell them?
It's not a full stop. It is not, it is a semicolon. It continues. Get help. Do not be ashamed. Do not be afraid. As, we said earlier, what you can do, I suggest highly, do not be ashamed. Do not be afraid. Speak to your doctor. I say speak to your doctor because confidentiality, as I said before, many a times people going through this, they don't want everybody knowing. They don't like, I can't sleep, I ain't eating well, I'm thinking about all kind of thing. All these different, you're hearing voices, you're wondering what is going on. So instead of going and tell everybody, or someone who would be like, hey, all she getting, what money she want, this man she want, that sort of thing. So instead of that, getting that negative feedback, you go to your doctor, tell them how you're feeling, tell them what you're going through, and I pray that the doctors are open and not fall into the same group, like, well, nothing wrong with you just need to do this or whatever, because there are doctors who can be like that. So you speak to your doctor and take the guidance. They might say, okay, you should speak to a therapist, or you go to a psychiatrist, and do the steps. And do not, again, we have this shame thing ingrained in us that, you have to hide, and nobody had to, you have to live your life. And, this is your experience on this planet. And if there is help to make that experience easier and better, I say take it. I fought, nothing is perfect. I fought taking the medication because of how we brought up, like, what is going to happen. And then afterwards I said, if it means I get to live for 50 years and I was supposed to live for 100, I ain't gonna make that 50 count.
Yeah. Another thing too, a lot of the time the doctors give you medication and it doesn't help. A lot of the times they are experimenting on people because they know you. Sarah, I'm serious. I'm not joking.
I know, but it's how you say
Well,
it.
that's all I could say. A lot of the times you go to a physician, you go to a psychologist, you go to a psychiatrist, and they say, okay, you're bipolar, well, take this medication because that is what everybody else bipolar taking. But they have to realize that you are an individual, and what might work for Sarana would not work for me.
True.
And that is a fact because Sarana does not take lithium. I used to take lithium for a long time and it worked perfectly. I'm not on lithium anymore. And I've seen that while I was off lithium, I've been relapsing over and over and over again. You know, so the lithium really worked for me. Now I am on something other than medication, on Tegretol, olanzapine, cogentin, and yes, it is working to an extent, but that is not what is keeping me going. What is keeping me going is my faith and my trust in Christ, my belief in Christianity. That is what keeps me going.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
I wish we had more time because, there's so much, different moving parts to this whole, yes, I like that, it can come back. I like her, I swear I do. And the thing about it is, I don't know her per se, but she never sees me on the street and don't say hi. She's always wearing the brightest smile and the biggest wave and the biggest. So I just love your optimism and your outlook generally. There are people who, suffering from, or shouldn't say suffering, but, going through mental stuff, and you would see it on them because they embrace it, they live it, and they just how they feel, they just how the world sees them. But if you don't know her, you wouldn't think that she's just think, people will say people flighty, and they have a lot of energy.
Because I'm manic most of the time.
That's how it manifests itself. Because the other side is depression, and then you'll be like down.
In a slump. You can't eat, you can't sleep, you're worried about every little thing. You don't want to take the medication because, oh God, it could make me think about stupidness, or it could have that adverse effect on me, So that is why I was talking about the medication. Sometimes the doctors prescribe the medication and it does not work. But they would not know if it will work. So they have to, and they start with what works on other people most commonly. That's what they would try first. And
like
then
that.
they would exit out and try something else, trial and error, and then eventually they find something that really works for you. And that for me was lithium.
Got you. So ladies, about time for us to wrap up. But before we go, you both mentioned something about a group organization or something of the
Friends of
sort.
mentally ill.
Okay, so how can other persons who may be experiencing mental issues or going through depression, etc., how can they get in contact or how can they become part of it? Because like you said, the support is very important.
They could go to clinic if it, and I'll say this, that there's a lot of young people walking around with mental disorder right now. People going to school, primary school, as well as secondary school, as well as college, right? And what I would say to them, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling out of it, if you're not feeling yourself, go to a doctor in Monge and get some help. There's a clinic every Thursday from 8 to 11:30. You go there, you explain to the doctors or the nurses what's going on with you, and they will help you. That is where you go. You don't go to the general hospital. They can't help you. Well, they could refer you, but they refer you to Monge. So you get a Thursday morning, you get up a Thursday morning, you go directly to Monge, and you explain to the doctors how you're feeling, what you're going through, and get some support from a family member.
Okay, added to that, there are some crisis hotlines and emergency numbers that people can reach out to. There is a Sweetwater Foundation. You can call or text 473-407-4445 or email info@sweetwaterfoundation.ca. That's info @sweet, SWEET, water, WATER, foundation, FOUNDATION.ca. And there's psychosocial support from the Ministry of Social Services from 8 to 4. That's when they operate. But if you can during that time, the number is 440-2269. That's 440-2269. And of course, there is always the 911 number. If things are really in a bad situation, you call 911. And suicide prevention hotline is 537 7867. That's the suicide prevention hotline. 537-7867. And you can WhatsApp 537-7868. I just want to say, we keep saying it over and over, but I just hope we reach someone by saying, do not be ashamed or afraid. Yeah, because you're going to you could die as a result.
Oh, yes.
You know, we don't want you to reach the point where you take your own life, because there's so much. We all born with something to give, whether you are to be a doctor, a teacher, a lawyer, a farmer, a janitor, whatever, a radio host, whatever it is you're called to do. We would like that experience on earth. So we would love for you to share that ability, and for you to do that to the best of your ability. We are asking you to not stay in shame and fear, but reach out. And I say reach out to your psychologist, to your doctor, who could then refer you to a psychiatrist. And as Avelina said, the Monge Hospital has clinic every Thursday. You can go and get assistance. No shame. No shame.
Gotcha. Ladies, thank you so very much. And like Avelina says, you're going to have to come back because, you know, we still haven't talked about the song, Sarana, but we're out of time. But we definitely have to get back to you on that. So tell us some of the things that you do, you know, to keep it going. So I want to say a special thank you to you both for being so open and frank with us this morning and sharing your journey with us this morning on mental health. Truly appreciate it. So looking forward to seeing you guys again.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And that's just about it for our program this morning. Thank you so much again, everyone, for tuning in. Everyone who chimed in via the Facebook or YouTube, thank you so very much for being part of the conversation. And I'm happy that it was so well received, and thankful for your feedback as well. All right, so I'm going to have another one, of course, to do another follow-up. All right, have a great Thursday, everybody. Until next week, God's will. Don't forget, tomorrow it's all about tales. All right, so hope to see you then. Later.
Ladies Room comes to you compliments of Renwick and Thompson Limited, Beacon Insurance.